Welcome to Living with Pride. I'm James Brown, and I've got my sidekick Randy McGowan sitting with me, and we're going to again try to share. We are going to again try to share with you some insightful information about the digital divide, which is not a divide; it's a combine. And I'm going to change that phrase, the digital combine. This brings everybody to the table. Randy, we found that in this life that we live, we get to a point in our age where we need help, we need support, we need assistance, and nothing has been so readily available as the computer and the smart devices that we can use to get to a point. We grew up with the newspapers. We grew up with the television, Walter Cronkite telling us what to do. Now we can get the information before they get it.
That's right. Past the rotary dial phone, we're on to the age where we can get information, whether it's accurate or not is another story, but we can get information very quickly, and we can also be overwhelmed with information very quickly.
And that happens a lot. But I mean, there is so much you can learn about caregiving tips, all kinds of things, how to reduce risk of stroke. All of these things are right sitting in this little system of docs and bays, and I don't even know the right terminology, but it's all sitting there. Through this show, we hope over the weeks, the months, the years, that we can help guide you to a safer, a better lifestyle by listening and learning about the things that help you get to the table. You can get to the driver's license department, you can get to permits, you can get to the doctor, you can get, even all the doctors, they got a thing called MyCharts now, that you can go on the internet and look at your chart and understand. So if it's something you do at the doctor's office and you don't quite remember what it was he told you, even though he may or may not have given you a slip of paper that says this is what we did, you can sit with your family and go and look at your chart and determine what is happening with you to get everybody on the same table and understand the same issue. So what we want to do with our conversation is help you get to the table properly. And there's so much, and I think that that's what scares us to death, and we always go back to fear. It seems to be a prominent issue in that process of evaluating what we do or how we do it. Let's take them to the store. I want a computer. And you will say you've got one already if you've got a phone.
That's right. You've got a phone right here, and this is probably one of the greatest computers ever invented, is just sitting in your hand.
Right.
And you can take a phone like this. You know, I got this at
I thought he was going to say a five and dime store, and I'm going, there aren't any more five and dime stores. You know what I mean? So where did you get your phone?
Well, I want to be careful about recommending one particular brand because I really enjoy all the major brands of cell phone. Okay, I'm not
a true businessman. Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so I got it at Costco. All right, but Costco has
everything.
Yeah, they have Verizon and T-Mobile and Sprint and Apple products and Samsung products and LG. All of those are great, and it's a matter of maybe taking a trusted advisor with you if you're uncomfortable. Or, you know what, I found that they really have good, helpful people there at the store, and they'll say, okay, what do you want to do? Here's some products that will work for you. Why don't you, and I just kicked off our little logo in the background, but you know, that's really, here, I'll show it this way.
Yeah, but I mean, so there's several factors that come into play when you're looking for a phone. Price is probably paramount, especially when you're on a fixed income or you're living under really a tight budget. Price is one thing. Reach, minutes, data, or other elements that come into play, and they pretty much all of them match up to data and memory and all of those kinds of things.
Right. There are some that are more, I guess, suited for business use, and some that are more for home use. But what I do is I have myself, my wife, and two of my kids. We share one account,
Right.
and we share the expense of it.
Right.
So that's a great way to do it, and I think that every cell phone provider does that. But I think most importantly is to get one that's reasonably priced, that fits your budget, and yeah, the apps and things are pretty well equivalent from one to the other. So don't be afraid saying, "Oh, I gotta have an Apple because my son said I gotta have an Apple
Right.
iPhone," right? iPhones are great, and if you can afford one, that's awesome. And they've got some great deals on the older models
Right.
that are good too. You don't have to get the latest and greatest. You can go back to the older model, the 6 or the 7
Right.
instead of the 10s that are out now.
So, to the question that when you think about you need a computer, start with your telephone. Start with that as a process of building a familiarization to the system of using a computer, because the telephone, these smartphones have much of the same kind of information and most definitely the same kind of formatting that a computer has, because it's a miniature version of the computer, but it's more adapted to talking and having conversations than
Right.
the computer, because of its size, not because of the components that make it a smart device, but because of its size. You can pick it up, hold it to your ear, or have an earplug in and talk and those kinds of things. And that's distinctively what separates a phone from a computer, is that it's mobility and accessibility.
Right, and you have the ability to add apps that are essentially adding functionality to the device,
Right.
to either communicate with FaceTime, which is like the old video phone. It's
Right.
like the Jeffersons. Remember the Jeffersons?
Moving on up to the east side to a
No,
deluxe
that's-
apartment in the sky.
No, Jepsons. Jepsons.
Oh, Jefferson. You see, I'm a senior. He went Jepsons, I went Jefferson.
The Jepsons had their little video phone, right? You could talk to somebody and see their picture, and Mrs. Jepson had put on her
I remember.
mask, right?
I remember. I apologize for my great outburst of the Jeffersons, but I confused the Jeffersons with the Jepsons now.
We'll have you sing in another episode, okay?
That's hilarious. Hey, we're going to come at you with a variety of different things that we hope will help you through the process. It's going to be funny, we hope. It's going to be interesting, we hope. It's going to save you from the agony of not knowing something, because we're here for you. And that's what Living with Pride is all about. And that's what we want to do to kind of change the focus on you. So stay tuned to Living with Pride. We're going to come to you a couple of times a week and give you information. We're going to make sure there's enough episodic information that will carry you forward. We're going to teach you how to deal with car buying. We're going to teach you how to deal with mortgages. We're going to teach you how to deal with loans. We're going to teach you how to deal with parenting skills and dealing with your families. We're going to teach you how to get through the maze of what you have to go through as a senior, because it gets complex, it gets complicated, it gets decisively confusing. And so we're going to be here for you. You're going to see in the next few episodes interviews and conversations with housing experts, with doctors and lawyers and professionals who will have a greater insight to the thing. And what I hope you gather and garner from this conversation between Randy and myself is that we are going to make sure you get the truth.
That's right. The truth right from the horse's mouth. And I'm the horse.
I was about to say that, ladies and gentlemen, because I was obviously the guy who wanted to be a singer earlier and was singing the wrong song. So stay tuned with us. Stay with us. We love you all. This is Living with Pride, coming to you from the hearts of James Brown and Randy Burgone. We want to help you live better. So until the next episode, I'm James Brown.
And I'm Randy Burgoyne.
and you have a great day. God bless you.